Make sure we got the volume all the way up, 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 up. Let's see if you all can hear me. Hopefully everybody can hear me and can see me. I know it's a little shaky today. Let's see. I'm trying to post you all on here. Let's see here. I'm going to give it some time for people to come on in while I try to submit this post right here. Let's see here. Hopefully everybody's doing okay today. Hopefully everybody's doing okay today. Let's see here. I'm going to mute my line just for a moment, okay? I don't know if you can hear the sounds where I'm at. Let me mute my line just for a minute. Because I want to give time for people to come on in, to the live. It's still social work month, y'all. I'm still coming at it. Today is our last day. So let's do that. I'm going to recap. We came in for March the 1st. We came in again on the 8th, on the 15th, on the 22nd, and now tonight, the 29th. So let's kind of talk about some of the things that we kind of discussed. I thought that would be really, really suitable. So let's see. Let me do a sound check right quick. Let's see here. I thought that would be really, really suitable. Okay, perfect. So let's go through. Give me 1 second here. Let's see here. All right, I'm unmuted. So we are taking it back. So we've been at it about 3 weeks. I think this is the 4th week we've been at it. So for the first, we talked about your social work program will not prepare you for everything in the profession. We talked about that. This is for people who has not had a chance to kind of like check out the videos. We've been doing them every Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for the entire month of social work month, for the entire month of March. And I'm just kind of recapping. For those of you who have never met me before, my name is Melanie and you're watching Core Inspirations. This is a channel designed with social work students and professionals in mind. And tonight I'm just kind of going over the finale. We've been coming in. Like I said, we've been really kind of going strong. Not kind of, we have. From March the 1st to the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and then tonight. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 5th week, y'all. So I'm just going to kind of recap. And when I say recap, just to kind of reiterate what we talked about. So give me 1 moment to find that, okay? All right, y'all. So I apologize for all the rockiness a little bit, but just let's recap. Like I said, we came in. Your social work program will not prepare you for everything in the profession. The second one that we talked about was your social work career resigning. How do you know when it's your time to go? The following after that was transitioning from your social work classroom to your social work career. And the most recent one that we did last week was how to thrive and survive grad school, social work edition. And tonight we're talking about investing in yourself. We are talking about investing in yourself. Like I said, this is the last and final session of the series that we have been doing in honor of Social Work Month. I have enjoyed coming in and seeing, well, not seeing you all beautiful faces, but definitely hearing and engaging. I've enjoyed talking with you all, but we're wrapping it up tonight. We're talking about investing in yourself. And I wanted to just do that recap so that we can talk about some of the things that we've been talking about throughout the entire month of March. So for some of you do not know, not only is it, International Women's Month and Women's Day, Women's History Month, Social Work Month, but it's also my birthday month, y'all. So hence why I'm not in my regular setup. I am enjoying my vacay. But I wanted to come in and just chime in like I said I would. I wanted to be committed like I said I would. And just kind of recap on some of the things that we were talking about. So if you're new to the channel, like I said, my name is Melanie, and I am actual social worker at the core of who I am within my profession, but I also am a practicing clinician as well. And like I said, we've been coming in at it. We've been definitely coming in every Tuesday. And I normally leave up the I'll leave up the replays for anybody, like I said, who work schedule doesn't align. But we've been coming in on the 1st, the 8th of March, the 15th, the 22nd, and today the 29th. So I'm coming in. Hey, yay, we made it. Such a good series. Enjoy your vacation. Absolutely. I'm coming in here. Just chiming in. We're talking about investing in yourself. I want y'all to really talk about that, because oftentimes I know even myself, right? I can go, right? We all can kind of go. We all can kind of push through different things. And sometimes we have to do that, right? But I want to talk about the importance of investing in yourself. So what does that look like? Yeah, hey, what's going on, Brittany Moe? Donna McLean in the house. Appreciate all the support, you all. We've been rocking in it consecutively. I said I might get ahead and at the end show y'all the water over here. It's dark over here where I'm at right now, so I wanted to at least try to do something with the lighting. But yeah, we're talking about investing in yourself. And in particular, this can go on so many different levels, whatever really suits you. Like, what are you in need as it relates to investing in yourself? Definitely personal and professionally. Oftentimes, we have roles and we have jobs, and we may start with an organization or company, nonprofit, government sector. There's so many different variants of, different organizations and companies. But some of those companies do render different training and development. They do offer, continuing educations. For some of you all, call them CEUs. But I want to just say, don't stop there. I want to say, don't stop there, because the thing is this. People are not going to be vested like you're going to be vested in your overall growth and development, right? So training and development, as you all know, is something that is near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've actually stepped into the role, and I'm doing a lot more of now. So I'm working with social work students and professionals one-on-one as we curate and custom courses for your training and development needs. So we sit down and we consult and we see what things you are in need of. And we curate and cultivate an actual space tailor-made and custom-made for you. And I think it's so important because, like I said, I've been around these little YouTube streets for a little while, and I've seen where people have, gotten information from my channel, additional help outside of that. So like I said, it's something that I've always been, really passionate about. And definitely after I graduated with my BSW, that's really when it catapulted, because I needed so many things in my career, right? I wasn't in a space where I was invested in myself like I should have been doing. When it came to me trying to advance my career, I was pretty good at that. But things outside of sometimes your organization, is good for you to be tapped in and being a part of organizations. Like, I know when I was at the county, I was a part of the communication team, and we did a lot of different things. We were responsible for providing policy information and updates throughout the whole organization. We did a lot of fun activities. We did a lot of building the morale within the departments, and then within the agency, we did a lot of that. Really just celebrating staff. We did a thing called Spring Fling, where it would be an event for all of the departments heads and frontline staff, everybody. And they would come out for a day of activities, and we would just kind of, spend time with one another. But I got to a place where I stopped investing in myself. Like I only did things that were maybe in line with what I could take there, or training that I had to do. So sometimes we can kind of get in this real mundane process and cycle where we're just kind of going, functioning, especially when you kind of burn out and tapped out, right? So sometimes it's really good to really kind of start off your year, maybe planning in where you can kind of plug in and get certain, development. And there's different types and various types of professional development and personal development, but I think both goes hand in hand, you know. But what does investing in yourself look like to you? For the people that may be still here, Brittany Moore, are you still here? She said, hey, yay, we made it. It's such a good series. I appreciate it. I've been enjoying it. I really have been enjoying it. But yeah, this is my birthday month, y'all. This is my birthday week, to be exact. So I have been enjoying coming into talk with you all. And like I said, we did the first actual topic matter was, when we first came in for the 1st of March, was your social work program will not prepare you for everything in the profession. The second was social work career resigning. How do you know when it's your time to go? The third, transitioning from your social work classroom to your social work career. And then the one that we did prior to was how to thrive and survive grad school, social work edition. So if you haven't got a chance to definitely check out the actual lives, or you kind of got a little bit here and there, whenever you get a chance and get a moment, definitely take out some time just to listen to. We have had a lot of engagement on some of them, and then some of them not so much, but still very much very informational. So definitely make sure you tune in and listen to something that may help you. Like I said, every time we come in, there's always maybe sometimes a new face or someone else kind of shares something. And like I said, it's not always about me giving everything. I love to engage with you all because I learn from you all as well. So let me see here. I know I asked a question. I said, what does investing in yourself look like to you? Let's see here. Well deserved, my love. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear the sounds? Or y'all just hear me? Okay, let's see. Brittany Moore said, making a sacrifice to advance yourself personally and professionally. Yes, yes. It is sometimes a sacrifice because sometimes those trainings have a price tag to them. Sometimes those trainings have an investment and you putting that time collateral up. You have to put in that time equity, that what they say, sweat equity. But it's worth it, right? Because we can't just solely depend on like our requirement trainings, because a lot of times, I know with us too, some of those trainings were kind of annually, and then nowadays companies are kind of doing more where they're kind of doing everything over the computer, and they're just having you kind of go in and people can kind of click through that stuff and get through it and get through it and get through it. But it's something else when you kind of invest in yourself, when you're kind of taking and going above and beyond and saying, hey, you know what? I need to reach out. And I want to say this is Brittany. I know that people like for mentorship, like even myself, I definitely do not know everything in the profession of social work. I have learned a whole lot and I have a lot to give, but I also still consult with other people as well, because I like to make sure, and a part, especially if you're a social worker, it's a part of our code of ethics as well, to make sure that we're staying abreast with the most form evidence-based research. We do that in our profession, right? We do that with our clients and our customers, but we have to do that with ourselves. We have to learn how to invest in ourselves. So I like that. She said, this is so right, Brittany. Yep. Making a sacrifice to advance yourself personally and professionally. Yeah. Because going to school, y'all. I messed up. I don't want to mess up. Okay. There we go. Yeah, going to school. I'm trying to get into a good place where y'all can see me. It's not always easy. Even school, that's a form of investing in yourself, because you're working, hey, this is my goal and I want to work towards becoming, skilled in a particular area. So let's see here. That is so right, Brittany. Brittany said, I'm guilty of clicking through those. Oh my goodness, you're not by yourself, Brittany. Because you're trying to get it done. It's like, okay, something else I have to do in addition to what I already have to do. Yeah, investing in yourself. I wanted to talk about that. And I also want to say this too. I know I touch on it and I'm guilty for it myself. Really taking the time to invest in being able to unplug, investing in yourself to the point where where it's time to Okay, hey, I'm chasing and I'm doing this. I'm chasing my goals. I'm going after this. I'm going after my dreams, my aspirations. I'm checking my checklist off. I'm checking my box list off, my goals, my aspirations, all of that. But there also comes a time where you have to balance it. I think in going and growing and learning how to be your best self, it's about balancing. You do what you have to do what you want to do, right? But you have to have breaks in between. You have to have times in between to kind of give yourself that balance. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually by the water, y'all. I decided to say, you know what? I need this time for me just to kind of renew. I got some things coming up within my career that I'm doing. And I said, you know what? I need a reset. I need to just a reset for a moment and get myself and get my thoughts together. And then I can go back on it. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Let's see here. This is so right, Brittany. She said, I'm guilty of clicking through those trainings. Yes, ma'am. LOL. She said, preach. Yes, ma'am. So easy to do. So easy to do. But what is another form of investing in yourself? I want us to really kind of think about it on just not just the professional level. We get that, right? Because we know like, hey, in order for me to be marketable, in order for me to be able to advance in my career, I have to be able to be abreast of the most up-to-date information that's going to help me to learn, some additional skill sets that I can transfer them into other roles and positions. But I think when it comes to us personally, I think sometimes we can kind of drop the ball on that and don't realize that, hey, personal investment is just as important, I would say, if not more than professional. Because before you already know I'm about to say it, before you are a student, before you are a professional, you are a person first. Yeah. So I know they talk about the whole work-life balance, and I would just say it's more to me of an alignment where you have to be intentional about some things like, nope, I'm bringing this down a little bit. Nope, I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Nope, I'm taking this off my plate completely. I think it's so easy to, just get into a place where we're just saying yes, and I'll do this and I'll do that. Because I just, at my hearts, I feel like people, they want to be the best. We're not going to school. We're not working these jobs. We're not, investing our time away from family, our time away from our loved ones, our time away from doing things that we like to do just to do it, right? When we're doing these different roles, we're working these different positions, we're going to school, we are committed to it. We are committed to it. We go when we're tired, we go when we're stressed. But I just want to encourage you, invest in yourself. It doesn't always feel good. Sometimes you can kind of like, okay, when am I graduating? For my social work students, for my social work professionals, you may be in a role where you're just like, hey, I reached the maximum of places, that I can grow here, and it's time for me to go there. So what does that look like for you, investing in yourself? Do I just stay because I'm comfortable? Do I just stay because the pay is good? I mean, everybody's situation is different. But what does investing in yourself really look like? Okay, Brittany Moe said, taking care of our bodies, our health impacts everything else in our lives. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have times where I do well with that, and I have times where I fall off the bandwagon with it. And really, it's more of me trying to learn lifestyles. How can I implement things, like you said, that's going to help me take care of my body? Like, what daily practices can I do? I've learned that when I take on too much at one time, because I have a personality, like I'm very ambitious. Like, I'm a very ambitious person. So when I set my mind to do something, I do it. But I struggle when it comes to really taking care of myself the way I need to, because I push and I go. That's why I'm so, always telling you about it, because it's something that I have to do better. I do way better than I used to because I'm way more self-aware and I'm more intentional about taking time for myself. But absolutely, taking care of our bodies, our health impacts everything else in our lives. Absolutely. Okay. Brittany also said physically, mentally, and emotionally. Ooh, let's talk about that. So definitely I can see where that ties in. I'm going to bring a current event into this conversation. I want to talk about it. Y'all know what I'm about to probably talk about. But I want to know what y'all thinking about it, and how this may send way to mental health and anger management and things of that nature. But before we get there, y'all know probably where I'm going. I want to hear what y'all are saying now. But tonight we are unscripted. We're just going from the heart, y'all. We're just going from the heart. She said, taking care of your bodies, our health impacts everything else in our lives. It absolutely does. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. So what happens when we are at capacity? Like, what does capacity look like for you? Mentally, physically, emotionally? I can start it off. So physically for me is me running, doing errands, doing this, doing that, not getting the proper sleep, not getting the proper rest, and then doing it consistently, not getting enough rest like all week, not just one day, but like, oh, I have not gotten 5 hours of sleep at all. Mentally, when I have so many maybe thoughts and ideas, or I may have, be dealing with some levels of stress in both my personal and professional work, where I just feel like there's just a lot on me, or I have to make like a strong decision. I know that can kind of take away of me as well. And then emotionally, I would say, let's see here. Emotionally, I definitely would say, if I'm doing the physical and mentally, when I'm not taking time to be able to do things that I enjoy. Like, I love writing. I'm an avid journaler. I absolutely believe in the power of journaling. One, it lets you see the progression that you make in your life. You can kind of sit back and reflect like, hey, you know what? I remember I used to be here, and you can and I love to date mines, and I love to even sometimes put times. Well, most of the times I put times on it. And if I'm real jazzy, if I'm real, about my thing, I even kind of summarize an actual setting. Like, so if I'm at a particular setting, I'll just kind of put some notations about that. But I find journaling helps me with my mental and my emotional, because I know if I'm stressed out, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. And then my moods may be affected because of me talking about it. And then it may come out physically, maybe aggressive or short-tempered, and I'm just being honest. So it's something that I have to be self-aware of. But when I journal, I really get my thoughts out. I really can get my thoughts out. I can prioritize maybe what may be on my mind. I can see what things I may be overreacting with. So it's one of the ways that I can like do a brain dump. And then it also helps to regulate my emotions, because I'm not saying it so much. I'm not expressing it in my mood or my physical body, but I'm able to put it in a safe space with a positive coping mechanism. And I can actually just flow and release any of those thoughts. So let me go back to the chat. Ms. Donna said, investing in your mental health is important also. Working with all types of personalities every day can be draining and challenging. You have to take care of yourself first. Absolutely. Let's talk about that. That was really multifaceted. That was really, really packed right there. So let's break down the first part, what Ms. Donna said. Investing in your mental health is important also. Yes. Even as clinicians, I'm a therapist that believe therapists need to see therapists. Absolutely. And a lot of times we give practical skills, coping mechanism, techniques, strategies, interventions, but we don't do them ourselves because we're so trying to see this person, trying to help out. And I think a lot of times within helping professionals, professionals within helping fields, a lot of times people are so used to giving, that we have to be able to slow things down and, like you said, invest in your mental health. What does investing in your mental health look like? Does that mean that you kind of, wind down your evening and prepare yourself for like a sleep routine to help you to be able to unwind without taking all that stress, from your job, and you just kind of lashing out on people? What does that look like? She says, working with all types of personalities every day can be draining and challenging. And that can be with coworkers and with clients, right? Because not everybody has the best attitude. People are still going through things, whether they're helping other people go through their own thing. We all have our own lives, right? So I definitely love that. Working with all types of personalities every day can be draining and challenging. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And if you're not careful, depending on how you are investing in yourself, you can start to take some of those things personal, right? You can start taking some of those jabs or attitudes or, moods. You can start taking some of those things personal, where a person may just be having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, bad year, who knows, She said, you have to take care of yourself first. Absolutely. I agree with that. And then picking your battles are important. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So I would love to give a clinical look at it. We can do a perspective. We can kind of come at this from so many different angles. So the whole Chris Rock and Will Smith situation that occurred at the Oscars. I want us to talk about it. I want us to talk about it. I want us to spend some time just kind of giving your perspective about what you feel like your thoughts were on that. Now, initially, I have not listened to a whole lot of research, like, finding out all the facts and details of the matter. I have listened to like the news and some other content that had been made around it. But I want to talk about the importance, some of the things that we're talking about physically and mentally and emotionally. And I know that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, they're celebrities. I know Chris Rock, they're celebrities. But before they're celebrities, they're people too, right? And I know they deal with a lot of stressors and they have different things and different lifestyles that some people do. But I want to talk about, where does mental health come into play with that? I want to talk about that. Where does that come into play? How can we talk about this on the physical, mental, and emotional, dealing with Chris Rock and the Will Smith situation? Let's see here. Brittany says, I feel that he should have waited till after to slap him. But also the joke was unnecessary. Wow, wow, wow. So can we talk about just what the Oscars kind of represented? I know previously, I want to say, and don't fact quote me on it, because like I said, I haven't really researched it. This is just really us just having a dialogue about it and a perspective. But I want to say back in 2016, there was an initial boycott that was going on for the Oscars, where Jada had vocally opened up about her concerns about it and how she was not going to be supportive of it that particular year. And I want to say Chris Rock had made a comment about it in relation to, like, he made some type of comparison between Rihanna's undergarments and her, and saying like, hey, boycotting the Oscars is like boycotting Rihanna's underwear. You wasn't invited, or something like that, So where does the fine line, where is the fine line? Is it a fine line when it comes to comedians? Because as we know, Will Smith is a comedian. He's an actor, superstar, and all of that. Jada, she's a movie star, but Chris Rock is definitely a comedian, and he's kind of known for having that type of risque, type of comedy where he's like stepping on toes. But my thing, I'm gonna just say this, and I'm open to it. I'm still kind of gathering different things. I don't know if just with the whole situation with Jada and her entanglement, as what she called, what pretty much was infidelity, or I don't know if they have like an open marriage, or whatever they have that works for them, but the arrangements that they have that works for them, I don't know all of the details. But I know that their marriage has like kind of been undergoing a lot of scrutiny. So do you all think, with the pressure of his marriage, and I didn't know that she suffered with alopecia. I had no idea that she did, and I was really trying to find out, okay, did Chris Rock know that she was dealing with that medical issue? Did he know that already? Some people say, how could he not know? Some people say he absolutely did know, But let's talk about that. Let me go to the chat. Let's see here. Brittany said, I feel that he should have waited till after to slap him, but also the joke was unnecessary. Brittany's also said, but also you can't control what others say or do. And then she said, so at the same token, Will could have just let it be. I think he responded because of the recent embarrassment Jada put him through. Yes, so definitely maybe some displaced anger there, maybe some displaced anger. Like, how would we look at that? That would be pretty cool to kind of look. So what if Chris Rock was our actual client, and he came in and just frustrated and irritated, and just with all of the embarrassment that comes along with that, how will we deal with that? What would be the first place that we would talk? How would we kind of go about that? But also, you can't control what others say or do. Brittany says, so at the same token, he could have just let it be. I think he responded because I think that there was definitely some other pressures there. Some people have even mentioned that it's been displaced anger, you know. And I don't know if you all, but I actually have had the chance to read his book, Will Smith book. I think it's called Will. And he really goes into, in that book, he really goes into the context of him growing up and him feeling like a coward. Like, he really talks about that blatantly in the book. If you haven't, you know, and I'm not, this is no official link, so I'm not doing any affiliate, you know, links or marketing or anything like that. But I have read the book before. And the audiobook is really, really good. The audiobook was really good. But he talks a lot about his history and growing up with an abusive father. He talked about his love for his father and all of that. But he talked about a lot of the things that he went through in his family history regarding being young and not being able to be in a place to protect his mom. So he saw a lot of DV there. And then he grew up in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. He grew up there. And he pretty much talked about that too, growing up, how that was, the challenges of the neighborhood, you know, going to school, and just a lot of different things that some people can kind of relate to as they have, you know, grew up in their life. But he talked about it. And a lot of times I remember in that book, he talked about how he could not help his mother. He talked about him, his brother, his sister. He said he was more of the pleasing type child. He wanted everybody to kind of get along, right? And then his brother, he said, was the one that was very more aggressive. He would, like, if something happened, he'll be the one that was more aggressive and handle things with more aggression. And his sister, he was saying in the book, like, she was just not having it. She'll be the person that she'll just dismiss herself. She wouldn't even, you know, she would disassociate. She wouldn't even be bothered with it. So I'm thinking, you know, and we don't still know everything. I think actors, they have parts of themselves that they'll never tell. And I mean, that's understandable, because so do we, you know. But from what I heard in the book, it's definitely some trauma there. So let's go to the chats. Let's see here. Okay, back to the journaling thing. Journaling is fantastic. I have journal going back to what? Okay. Donna, yes, ma'am. Journaling is fantastic. I have journals going back to 2010. I can say I have seen the change in my life over the years, the ups and downs. Keep the faith, you can accomplish anything. Absolutely. Look at that. That's 20 years, a 20-year journal. Look at that. I love it. I love it. Brittany, let's see. She said, I would have first praised Christ for keeping his Chris for keeping his composure after that shocking situation. But the next, I wouldn't know what to say. LOL. Hence, why I'm a student. Yes. Brittany, you got to let me know too, like, if they're talking about that, like, what that would be, you know, like, what would that be? Even if Will was a student and coming in for anger management, like, would y'all think that's something that he would possibly benefit from? You know, so I know initially starting in, the assessment would be the initial thing. So we would take, if Chris was coming in, or even if Will was coming in, an assessment definitely would be something that we'll initially take in. We would take in the factor of the situation that brought it in. That would be more called like the presenting problems. So the presenting problems would be, oh, you slapped somebody. Oh, it was in, you know, national TV. And then, you know, that would be Will's. And then Chris's would be the result of being hit, you know, from someone, experienced a violent act, experienced, you know, an assault. And then you would take that, both of those would be the presenting issues for Chris. And then for Will, it would be, again, him hitting someone. And then we would kind of go through the bio, psycho, social, and spiritual. We're going to be doing an assessment because we want to know, where did this behavior come from? Did it just come out the sky? Was it just that he snapped in one moment? Or was there some upbuild? Was there some things that correlate to his past and to traumas? And what were some of his childlike experiences? What were some of the things that he saw coming up? And then even with Chris, the way that he responded, let's go back and see in his family history. So we would go and start with the assessment. The assessment would be the first place that we'll start, just to kind of get a lot of just insight about knowing about more of their upbringing, because we don't have all the answers. We do, just like doctors do when we come in with ailments, and sometimes you have to see a specialist. Even though they're a specialist, they're not going to just say, oh, I'm a specialist, this is what's going on. No, you have to undergo a series of tests. And those tests produce results, and those results give the doctor areas where they can possibly initially start their process, you know? So just like as clinicians, we are with the emotional side. If they was coming in, we would assess them first and then see what those, what comes out of those assessments, you know, thoroughly asking questions about any, you know, issues that may have happened before, previous issues that may be stressors or triggers. And we would kind of go through that, you know. And then sometimes, depending on the situation, based upon the actual assessment and what's coming from the assessment, then we'll look at, do you know, the DMS-5, are there anything that's presenting as potential actual mental illness diagnosis per the DMS-5? So there's a lot to look into this. I thought that would be a pretty cool thing too to kind of do. Let's go back to the chat. To use a current event and like an actual, like say if these was our clients, how would we do it? She said, Brittany said, but I can understand both sides. Ms. Donna said, I agree, Brittany. I think he should have waited until the show was over. Yeah, because you know, the way he did it, let me ask y'all, did y'all pick up on how, okay, at first, and like I said, you know, we only see clips. We don't know the whole backstory, the beginning and the end. I just saw the clip that I saw. But from the clip that I saw, Chris Rock said the joke about G.I. Jane, right? 2. And then Will laughed. I saw that he laughed. He kind of had like a little smirk. He was laughing, right? But then you saw Jada kind of like, okay, you know, do one of those things. So I wondered, you know, if it was something more than just the alopecia. Like maybe she's really dealing with something or ailment that we don't know about that may be more progressive, you know, than what we know. Or really just her whole situation that she's been dealing with. Like I said, I know some people, you know, had showed videos her kind of coming out talking about it, but I didn't even know that she was dealing with that. And I mean, ultimately, it's a lot to deal with. So because he probably is privy to kind of know what's going on with his wife and knowing maybe her journey with that, felt like that was a low ball, you know. So those are some of the things that I noticed. But I noticed that he smiled first, and then he kept smiling all the way up until, like, y'all already know, like, and it's not funny about, like, just, I'm saying the way he did it, I felt like it was very sneaky. Very, like, I'm going to sneak you, you know? And I mean, it was so, I thought it was literally scripted until he sat down and then his whole demeanor changed and he got serious and was just telling Chris, like, yo, keep my wife out your mouth. You know, so let's see. She said, but I can understand both sides. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ms. Donna said, I agree. I think he should have waited. Okay. Ms. Star said, it was not the time for him at that point to show himself in that light. Not at all. Absolutely. Let's talk about that. Because what are we talking about? This happened at the Oscars, y'all. This happened at the Oscars, you know, and it's a space where a lot of people have already expressed that there's not equality as it relates to African American artists and them getting their due diligence. And then to see an altercation between 2 African American men. Some people are just like, that's appalling, you know, like don't give them something already what they already think, you know. So those are some of the sentiments that other people had as well. And I definitely thought about it like, wow. So I appreciate that, Ms. Star. She said it was not the time for him at that point to show himself in the light, not at all. But let's talk about that. When we talked about investing in yourself, have you all felt pressure to the point where you snapped? Or you felt like, you know what, just said the wrong thing? Like, okay, normally I wouldn't have said that, but because I had this on me, I had that on me. Let's talk about that. So let's put ourselves in this equation. Have anybody ever experienced really just having so much stress on them? You know, whether it was, you know, life experience, personal, or on your job, or within the school process, because there's stress that's endured in that process too. Have you ever had internships, field placements, trying to balance your internship and field placements and dealing with personalities there and maybe not getting all of your needs met? I'm going to break it down from the student, and then we're going to go to the professional and then personal, right? Then personal. Being a student, when it gets to having to balance your schoolwork, having to do your assignments, still wanting to make those premium A's and B's in your classes, dealing with certain personalities from your professors. Then when you get into your field placement, even with that process of even obtaining a field placement, is it a field placement that you want that you didn't get? The process of, okay, do I have a support system here for me to be able to make these changes in my schedule to do the field placement and do school and assignments and have to work for some of you all. So dealing with all of those pressures. And then when you get to the placement, maybe they're not adequate, or maybe they're not fully, able to really give you the experience, or, the hands-on experience that you want, or the tools, or you find yourself not really being able to be utilized as the way that you may have wanted, all of those pressures, and then doing 20 hours, doing 25 hours a week for free, no money, free 99. Like, let's talk about that. As we're talking to a professional, having deadlines, having caseloads, having responsibilities, maybe not seeing eye to eye with certain supervisors or certain co-workers, working in an organization whose environment may have become toxic, having unrealistic deadlines, maybe something changed within you and it's a scheduling situation, or maybe you're wanting to, move to a different position, or just a different entire company in itself. Talking about those stressors as we talk about professional and in our personal lives, dealing with all the things that makes up that. Have you all ever experienced having so much pressure, that to the point you're just like, look, I ain't trying to be nasty, but today ain't the day. I'm not trying to be rude, but today ain't the day. I know I've been there. I've definitely been there before. Let's see here. And then Mo said, I agree with you all. It's a time and a place for everything. Controlling our emotions are important. Absolutely. Star said, yes to much stuff. Yes. It can build up really quickly. And then Donna said, you are right, Brittany. And Miss Star said, that took the plate and cake. Oh, my goodness. When I found out that was true, I said, oh, are you serious? And definitely I know a lot of people are talking about hopefully it's going to be a situation where they can be reconciled. And hopefully so. I feel like every situation is a learning opportunity. We all learn, we all grow. I know he had, Will, referenced, had apologized to everyone, but I didn't hear him in that speech apologize to Chris Rock. So maybe there's some more backstory that we don't know that may kind of come out within the next couple of weeks to kind of put a little bit more clarity to what we actually kind of saw and took place. Brittany says, yes, I have had moments like Will. The emotions just takes over so quickly, and afterwards I regret it. Absolutely, absolutely. And then I'm going to just say this too, because I think oftentimes when you are becoming a social worker, when you are responsible for being a person that's going to, have some type of input in somebody else's life, when you're going to be maybe counseling or providing clinical skills, and you're giving your level of expertise or your insight to a family, that when you have your own stuff, you can kind of feel like, oh my goodness, we're still human, we're still people. And like we talked about, the investing in yourself, investing in your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, it's important that we invest in ourselves, because when we're talking about, like Ms. Donna had mentioned, working with people with different personalities, it can be draining, right? So even with our clients, we may have difficult clients depending on what population you're working with. People that may be within the substance abuse disease sector, people that may be working with substance use and different programs that kind of come along with that, the homeless population, any particular client. I mean, from medical social work to working social services within the military, for the VA, school social work, you're always going to have challenges, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't have a job if people didn't have challenges, right? So people are always not, they're coming in different walks of life. They're coming from different experiences. And a lot of times what you see them at the moment, you may have no idea what, brought them to that place. And it's easy to get, like, even with Will, it's easy to come into a space where, oh, he was wrong for that. Oh, to judge people. And then I'll never forget this. One of my professors, when I was taking social work 101, Introduction to Social Workers, he was saying one of the key signs that you know that you are a good clinician, and I'm going to repeat, one of the key signs that you know that you are a good clinician is when you can look at someone and don't judge them at all. Like, you don't have a thought of judgment. And I think as people, we are guilty for that, because we all have our own, moral compass, our own core values, our own things that we have our set standards for, and we compare and contrast people according to, those standards. But we have to understand that everybody's standards is not the same. And just because someone, and I'm not condoning Will's, behavior, don't get that misconstrued, But what I'm saying as it relates to saying if he was a client, I'm not going to be able to help him if I'm judging him. You know, you don't have to always agree with what people do, but really, like I said, going to understand and getting that deeper rooted things, you kind of get to understand people's why. And the why doesn't always have to make sense, right? But sometimes it's something else. Let's go back. Some people allow their emotions to take over. Okay, Ms. Donna said some people allow their emotions to take over in certain situations and, of course, react. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know I definitely have felt times when I was really in a space where I was ready to go on. You know, I was ready for the next chapter of my life, and I felt kind of stuck. I felt kind of trapped, and I was really frustrated. That was a hard time. That was a hard season for me. And I know my emotions probably was not the best, you know, not probably, it was not the best. And I had to work through that. But I had to do a lot of internal soul searching. I had to do a lot of, you know, looking to see, you know, what was it that I initially loved about the role? Or what was it that initially that I loved about, you know, this segment of my life, you know? So sometimes, you know, some things you deal with compassion fatigue, right? You deal with vicarious trauma and dealing with a lot of these clients that have different, you know, situations and problems, hearing problems all the time, hearing trauma all the time, hearing people's issues all the time. We have to make sure that we invest in ourselves, you know, because we don't want to get to a place where we're not doing our work to help others do their work. So back to what Ms. Donna had said, that we have to take care of ourselves first. Let me go back to the chat. Ms. Star said, of course, she said, of course, it does get serious, just like that stress is stress, and a reaction will happen if not monitored by self and being aware. Absolutely. Absolutely. But like, oh, did I say that? Oh, did I do that? You'd be like, yep, I did that. Yep, I said that. And then we have to be, you know, adults about it and apologize, but it's true. But we don't want to make a pattern of it, right? But if we find ourselves in a situation, what can we do about it to make it different, you know? And sometimes people don't get a second chance depending on the severity of the emotional outburst, right? Ms. Star said, for Chris Wright, yes. Okay, she said, yes, he did. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so Star Cosmic, she said, of course, it does get serious, just like the stress is stress. A reaction will happen if not monitored by self and being aware. And then Ms. Donna said, yes, he did. Brittany, I did not hear an apology to him either. For Chris Rock, his cells have, okay, she has this problem, but she looks wonderful and wears it well. I'm trying to catch up to y'all now, y'all. Let me see. So she said, Ms. Donna said, okay, she has this problem, but she looks wonderful and wears it well. And Miss really have taken off. This is will, yes, absolutely. This will go down in history. Absolutely. The history of the Oscar Awards. They will never forget that. And I think I saw clips of what Nicole Kidman, and when she was like, did I just see that? You know, so people that were attending the actual award ceremony was pretty shocked. Ms. Star said, yes, they both will. And Donna, it's a sad representation considering where they came from. I agree with that. Absolutely. And then Ms. Donna said, I have been in circumstances that student and faculty have gotten under my skin, but I learned to get my message across without going off and being professional. My script was, I'll get right back to you with this smile. Wow. I'm talking about it. And see, you know, it takes us to be self-aware. It takes us to know, okay, hey, you know, my fuel is kind of getting a little bit low. You know, my patience is getting a little thin. My tone is getting a little loud. My attitude is getting a little strong. My hands movement is getting a little rough. My neck is getting a little snappy. My mouth getting a little chatty. You know, I'm making fun of it, but we have to know these things because at the end of the day, especially as it relates with you becoming a social work professional, you know, we are mandated within our code of ethics of certain codes of ethics that goes along with our profession that we are mandated to adhere and to maintain. And I think a lot of times people don't really talk about the negative things of that, even though we're people, when you're in a profession where you have to be the example. And this goes for any profession, you know, it goes for any profession, but definitely the social work profession, because like I said, that is what I'm versed in, and that's what my channel is about. But definitely, but every policy has a code of conduct. So let's talk about that. So we can switch this on so many levels. Like, I'm loving it, y'all. So let's take it to a new level. So let's go on the macro level when we're talking about policies and procedures, right? And Brittany, this is good for you too, to be able to know how to see an issue and look at it from different levels of practice. So we're going to start it off from the macro level. We're going to go from the mezzo level, and then we've already talked about the micro level. Just that direct practice. If Chris Rock and if Will Smith was our client at the micro level, we talked about that, starting off with that assessment and getting those results, looking at that biopsychosocial and spiritual background, getting a lot of details, family dynamics to kind of know what's going on, and then seeing if that meets an actual diagnosis based upon some additional, insight. But we're going to come back to that mezzo level, dealing with families and groups, but let's go to the macro level. So in regards to the Oscars, I know before they had talked about that they had amended their code of conduct policy. I think this was prior to, of course, what happened. So let me find out. I don't know if you all know, but have anyone heard anything about him based upon the code of conduct that they have at the Oscars, that his Oscar, his trophy, what he's gotten, is it going to be taken away? Has anything been mentioned about that? Because on the macro level, where you're talking about policies and procedures, like what happens, right? So on the macro level, when we're talking about that, with the policies and procedures, the Oscars is one entity, right? And they control a lot of the artists, like recognition and giving them their due diligence, right? But they have so much power in a sense of who's recognized for what. Because I know we talked about it before. Because what was it, Reverend? I want to say that's what he got us award for. He got us award for that. But talking about the policy level, looking at it on the policy level, how does that implement? How is that implemented here? Because from what I understand, they amended the code of conduct. So I don't know, based upon their policy, how Will is going to be affected based upon that actual policy. I know he apologized to, the Oscars and to all of the other people outside of Chris, but we're going to see what that comes out, because I'm sure that they're going to review that. So in the macro part of it, when you're talking about policies and procedures, say you was a social worker working with Oscars and you represented certain, you was a part of developing the policies for the Oscars, developing and implementing policy. And policies are something that is a standard for a company or organization or establishment, and it gives order, it gives structure, it gives parameters of how people are able to move to and through that particular organization's establishments. So policies are written for a reason. So being a macro social worker, if you was a part of a board that had to determine, like say right now, I'm sure there's probably meetings going on right now at the Oscars, and they had a social worker at the table and they were reviewing the policies. Like, how would that work? Is they may have clauses that may not be really direct about what the ramification or the consequences may be, or they may have clauses that are like generalized principles that say, hey, if he does this, then this happens. Do you think they'll tweak it because he's a celebrity and because he's an affluent celebrity? Do you think race will play a factor in it? Do you think sex will play a factor in it to alter the policy? Or do you think that it'll be whatever per policy it is, that's what his punishment is going to be? Let's talk about that. Will there be any race factors involved in it? Because Will has been in Hollywood for a long time. He's broken a lot of records within that movie industry. He's known for, bringing a lot of money at box office, when his movies open up. Like, he's really a big wig in the whole movie industry. So let's talk about that. And then Ms. Starr said, yes, for sure, we do know it can happen. And then his wife is on the council. Oh, is Jada on the council? She's on the council of the Oscars? Ms. Starr, is that what you're saying? Is Jada on the council of the Oscars? That is interesting if that's what you're saying. That is absolutely interesting if that's what you're saying. She said, lots of laughing. Some days I would just say, I can't fake it today. Yes, I'm telling you. Yes. But I mean, this is really good information. This is really good content because there's a part of being a, professional, like what that, there's a process and there's, how can I say? There's a standard that comes along with being a professional artist within the film industry, a professional, because he does business. He has different ventures and things that he does for sure. So, I mean, we get to sit back and see how this is really going to matriculate. Is it going to affect them in the pockets? Are they going to, get some more backlash because of what's going on? But it really is. I feel like most people are pretty divided because on one hand, people can relate how he can get frustrated because of a low blow, but then not really care for that behavior. And then another person feel like, well, hey, he's a comedian. He does this, but then he may have went too far, She said, yes, from what I've heard, we can Google it. Okay, so if Jada, I don't know, like I said, I haven't looked up anything, but that would be really, really interesting if she's a part of the board that's going to be taking in consideration what's going to be the consequences, rendered to what actually took place. So that'll be something else. But I wanted to just use this current event as really like a case study almost, looking into the details of it and really just having a discussion. So let's move from the macro level to now to the mezzo level where we're talking about families and groups and things of this nature. So as a family, right? And I know, and I forget his son's name. What is this? I know Willow. What is Will Smith's son's name? Does somebody know Will Smith's son's name? I forget his name. Goodness. I forgot his name. Is it Jaden? Jaden. Yeah, I think it's, yes, thank you. Because I'm tripping. I know I'm thinking about the Karate Kid over here. Like, what's that boy name? Jaden, thank you. But looking at the family level, right? How they have grown up with such, because I mean they've been through their own thing too, right? So Gammy, she had her battle with addiction with I want to say she was addicted to heroin, right? So she had her spill of things, and then growing up, and I mean she's clean out, beautiful woman, right? So she's had her time, and then also just the children, Jaden and Willow, growing up around superstars. Their mom is famous, their grandma's famous, their father's famous, and then them trying to find their way. And then when certain things happen to their family, certain comments, certain scrutiny, even amongst other celebrities, what kind of toll would you think that this may play? Ooh, they doing fireworks over here. I got to show y'all the fireworks, y'all. Let me see. I'm about to show y'all the fireworks. Hold on. Are they doing fireworks over here? I got to show y'all the fireworks. If they do it again, I'm going to show y'all the fireworks. Where I'm at. I'm like, I'm not ready. It's not even the 4th of July. What they doing over here? People making up their own thing to do. But yeah, let's look at the family portion of it, right? So like I said, we're looking at Chris Rock and looking at Will Smith and the whole situation. And we're going to use this as like a case study and seeing if they were our clients, how would this be? But we're going to look at it through the lens of different levels of micro social work practice, right? The different levels of practice within social work. So we looked at the micro level where it's more direct practice, as if they were one client one-on-one, as if Will Smith came in to our agency and we are the clinician giving the clinical and having to do the assessment, or if Chris came into the agency and we are given our insight based upon that. And then we looked at the macro level as if we were one of the social workers within the board, and we had to come up with seeing how the policy will be implemented due to the violations of the code of conduct. Would it have any influences based upon being skewed or not fully implemented because of his race? We're talking about power. We're talking about privilege, because even though he's African American, he does have some level of privilege, a lot of level of privilege. We're talking about ethnicity. We're talking about, so many different factors, social economic class. You know how these little, people don't really open it up this much, but this is what we're talking about. This is what we're thinking of, this is what this details. It's not just a decision. It's so much behind that decision and around that decision of what's going to happen. So we're talking about the macro level. We're talking about the macro, the micro level, and now we're talking about the mezzo level of social work practice, where it deals with groups and it deals with families. So I'm talking about families right now. How would you think Jaden and Willow are really feeling with this, and maybe being judged from some of their friends, or maybe being celebrated for some of the things that their dad done. I'm gonna show y'all this, y'all. Hold on. See if I can show y'all this. Hold on. So something else. Hold on. I don't know if they're gonna do it again. Let's see. Let me let y'all see, y'all. Hold on. How can I change it? Let me see. Can y'all see? It's so dark. So if they do it again, I'm letting y'all see. Y'all, I'm on my vacay. I love y'all so much coming in. I said, look, I'm still going to do it. My mom and Kirsty's like, you doing your live? But I want y'all to know I really, really am enjoying the engagement with us. I'm absolutely enjoying it. Let me see here. I don't know if they're going to do it again. Did they get done with it? They might do it again. I'm going to just talk to y'all while we're doing it. But I guess I'll check, let y'all look and see while I'm talking to you. So let's see here. Says Jaden, yep. What a way to find out. LOL, please show us. Yeah, I think it's about to happen again. Look, just watch it. Look, because I see people running away from it. There you go. There you go. Y'all see it? What a way to end social work month. Y'all see that? Investing in yourself, y'all. I'm being first partaker of it. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Yes. This is a wonderful way to end social work month. We still got some more days in the month for sure. But they got a whole live. They ain't playing over here. They are not playing over here. I absolutely love it. But I'm going to let y'all look at the little, if they do it again, I'm going to stay out here for a little longer. It's cold, y'all. But yes, ma'am, I'm at the beach. I don't know if y'all can see the water. Can y'all see the water? It's so dark out here, you really can't see. But I can give you a little scenery. Yeah, people are coming out. They're trying to see what's going on. Yes, but I love it. I love it. And they make, okay, let's see. Let's get back into it. Yeah. She said, hopefully they will follow the policy and show the world this is not acceptable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brittany, are you still in the room? Are you still in the live? Because I definitely would love to get your insight on this too. And then let's see here. Absolutely, Ms. Donna, hopefully they will follow the policy and show the world this is not acceptable. Absolutely. Star, we shall see, Donna. Everyone is waiting for that. Yes. And they make an example of him. Yes, yes. I hear it. Yes. It's something else. It's something else to think of, though. I'm going to put it back to myself so that way. And if they have anything, can you see me now? I'm messing it. Okay, okay. Yeah, but it's something else. Because like I said, people sometimes, when people are influential, when people are privy to have power, and that power that they have comes along with privilege, people sometimes have the capacity to change the rules. To change the rules of things, and sometimes what one person will go through, the other person doesn't, because of their fame, their fortune, so it's a lot. It's definitely a lot to that. It's definitely a lot. But I absolutely enjoyed it. We have talking about investing in yourself tonight. We talked about, for the beginning portion of it, that we've been coming in every Tuesday, y'all. Every Tuesday, your girl been showing up. Birthday week and all. This is my birthday week, y'all. But your girl been showing up. And I absolutely have been enjoying the times. I guess they done over there, y'all. It look like they coming on back. It is cold, too. But yeah, I've absolutely been enjoying coming in. We've been coming in all the way up from the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th today. We've been coming in. Yeah. And we've been talking about social work topic matters for the entire month of Social Work Month. And I have absolutely enjoyed talking with you. I'm actually thinking about some other ways that we can continue the engagement. I'm thinking about possibly doing some things on Instagram too, doing some lives on Instagram because I'm not as active with my lives over there. But yeah, then we talked about it and we ended tonight's live pretty much talking about the Chris Rock and Will Smith, the current event. And we use that as a case study on different levels of micro, mezzo, and macro social work, different levels of practice within the social work profession. We looked at that and we really dissect to see what that would look like if they were our actual clients on each level of practice. So I absolutely enjoy the engagement. I'm going to give you a little bit more of the view before we end tonight's live. Let me see if I can turn it around again. Yep, I'm talking about investing in yourself, y'all. And I'm taking my time to do that. This is a much needed thing for myself. I'm enjoying myself. I am. And y'all, if y'all at any beach right now, it is so cold it don't make no sense. It is so cold it don't make any sense. Hopefully it doesn't make anybody dizzy. But yep, I'm enjoying myself. Taking time to invest in myself. Taking time to reset my mind frame, to shift my thoughts. Take time to rest. So I'm showing you what I'm doing, right? Because it would be one thing for me to just tell you, oh, do this, and I'm not doing it, right? Just giving you a little view. What perfect way to end Social Work Month. I absolutely so have enjoyed it. All right, well, without further ado, thank you for who you are, you all. Always know that here on the channel of Core Inspirations, like I said, I intentionally design content around social work students and professionals. But my ultimate goal is to inspire you at the core of who you are, as a student, as a professional, but ultimately as a person first. All right, you all enjoy the rest of your night. I'll talk with you later. Over and out.